Good morning. Indianapolis and surrounding areas are becoming toilet to tap water systems, and I'm here to tell you about it. My name's Bud Wiry, and you're in the shop. So, guys, it is pretty mind blowing once you look at it because I've been razzing Lebanon pretty hard about becoming the first community to be drinking their own wastewater. Because, I mean, if talk about all the prizes you don't want to win as a community, becoming the first to drink your own treated poo water is pretty bad. So, anyway, I've been razzing Lebanon about it. But the reality is, all of these other communities are also going to be starting to drink this overload of wastewater that's coming right out of this major drinking water supply. So what they're doing, and guys, this is something that the more you reflect on it and you start looking at why they would do this, even though it has all the implications and all these extra chemicals and all this different stuff, cancer causing stuff, and all this things going into the people. Why would you still do it? And but when you see out in California where they've already done these toilet to tap systems, because of water shortages and everything else. The reason why they're trying to push, and if they succeed in getting all the people right here in central Indiana to go on toilet to tap systems, that opens up a lot of water. And what are they going to do with that water, guys? They're going to sell it to other people. So check this out. Basically, what's happening is if they can get everybody, because they're already doing it. Once Lebanon's dumping 25 million gallon a day right into the drinking water supply of everybody in Indianapolis and surrounding communities, once they're already doing that, that is going to become the new normal. They are going to make these systems to where they're all toilet to tap, and if all the people will take it and they'll continue going on with it, then it's all going to be all right for them. And they're just going to have this extra abundance of water that they'll then be able to sell to these big data centers and other corporations. And it occurred to me part of the reason why they're being successful and more people aren't pushing back against these things is people are already currently believing that they're drinking recycled poo water right now. So I've seen it across all these boards. So where I've posted all this information out there, I've had countless time and time again people coming back saying, everybody's already been drinking recycled toilet water now because they haven't really understood that there's a difference between a water treatment plant and a waste treatment plant. So all that in their minds, they just know that the water for the community comes from a plant. So they were thinking it's the same one. So I actually started this week. I dropped it yesterday for those that give it a listen. Thanks. It was the shop's first diagnostic. That's what I was going to call it. Just a short, I think it was about around 8 minutes to try to explain a topic a little more because when I'm posting about these things in the community and I'm seeing that there's a portion of it that needs it, it needs better explained to people because they're not even, we all need to be on the same page, at least be working off the same information when we're having these discussions because and to give you a quick rendition of how it goes, I mean basically like a Lebanon system, they got a well, then it goes into a water treatment plant, and then from the water treatment plant it gets pumped into the water towers, from the water towers it goes down into the homes, from the homes it goes into the waste treatment system down to the waste treatment plant. It goes through that process and then right now it's released into Prairie Creek. People are not drinking their wastewater. But that's what all these toilet to tap systems are. And guys, I explained that too and all of this. And why is it such a big deal is because, say if you take the way Lebanon is right now, you pump that water out of the ground, you test it for the government regulated 90 chemicals. That's what the EPA regulates. And your water is probably pretty safe because it's most likely to, maybe it has one of those long time regulated government chemicals. But when you start looking, and like we've talked about on other shows and in yesterday's little segment, we have 14,734 PFAS forever chemicals. We have 4,800 pharmaceutical chemicals. We have all this stuff, and they're only testing for 90. So they have no way of knowing. So now, when people are getting their water from these municipal sources, which are, surface water sources, it could have all of these thousands of chemicals in it, and they're still only testing it for 90. So that's the big problem, guys. And I tried to get in there and explain that a little better because as long as people were already thinking that they were drinking their own recycled wastewater anyway, they're actually now more receptive to the government doing it for real, which is what this system really does. Because so now, not only will Lebanon be drinking their own human and industrial and pharmaceutical wastewater, then now the rest of the communities around Indianapolis that also, Speedway served by it, Brownsburg, Pittsburgh, there's all kinds of communities out there, all the way to Westfield, that are served with the same water. And, so now they will all be getting that. And once Lebanon's getting the approval to be able to dump this amount of wastewater into the drinking water supply, what other community? The chains are going to be off. That's going to just be the new normal for central Indiana right here. Is this supply of all the water around here is going to go to all these big corporations, and the people are now going to be drinking their, all this recycled wastewater with its umpteen thousand chemicals in it. And that's just going to be the new normal for here. So, guys, this is the result of having the IEDC come into your community. This is the result of government controlled developments coming in and taking over everything. You right now had people of Lebanon, Indiana that had good, clean water that come out of the ground, goes through a water treatment plant and then into their homes. And that, they had that relatively in safety. And now the government's come in with these big projects that all these local corrupt politicians have helped them grease the skids for. Now the people of this community are going to be looking at getting this water that is literally their own wastewater with their own chemicals from the people, because that's a lot of, when you look at how all this stuff gets into the water. So, you get pharmaceuticals into the water from like a pharmaceutical plant like Lilly or something like that, but you also get them through the people. So it's the people through their excrements that actually put a lot of these chemicals into the environment. And now that Lebanon's going to be drinking this water straight from the same source they dumped for, it's mind-boggling. I hope that my little segment that I put out this weekend helped people, understand how this is working, because I've just seen so many people that already believed it. And I don't know if it's, schoolyard, tall tales that got told when they were children. I don't know how everybody already got to believing. So a little clarity there, and hopefully that helps out. So real quick, I want to give a giant, huge shout out to the over 400 people that went out for the Eagle Creek protest, where they had protested this wastewater going into the reservoir there, and they walked across the bridge and everything. It was a very good crowd, a lot of energized people, a lot of people seeing it, got a lot of media coverage, and that's what it needs, because people are going to continue to push against this. If Lebanon and Indianapolis and their corrupt politicians think that everybody is just going to accept the fact that they're turning this whole area into a toilet to tap system, they got another thing coming, because this is not California. There are still enough people out here that are paying attention that are going to continue to push back. And if they succeed in doing what they're trying to do, they will destroy these communities around here, because once everybody realizes, and we've talked about that before, how the younger generations are more health conscious and everything. Once everybody realizes that Indianapolis and the surrounding communities are toilet to tap systems, people ain't going to want to come here and drink that. So, all right, I'm going to move on from that, because we all know that I have plenty of time and want to talk about this water thing. Guys, I've told you over and over, I believe it's going to be the biggest thing of the century. These are the water wars. They were already starting. We're already watching it happen. So that's why I constantly stay on it. But anyway, we're going to move on. So we have Corey Coots. So I got a little backlash this last week because I posted a picture of Corey Coots in his leprechaun hype uniform, whatever that may be. But anyway, the way it struck me is because I've long said that Corey Coots is just a puppet. He's Matt Gentry's little boy of sorts. He's his puppet. And I say that because he goes along with him on everything. He's installed on every board. I mean, Corey's the president of the Heart of Lebanon, president of the Planning Commission, president of the Redevelopment Commission. He's in on the Boone EDC, and the Gentrys tried to fund his campaign to run for commissioner. He's installed everywhere that they can put him to be a yes man. So I view Corey as a puppet, and I've seen his videos of him trying to attack that lady at a meeting for asking questions about their project. I sat there and watched him where he was trying to fight to take the alley from Samson Leathers, Samson Historical. So I very much have seen this gentleman in action. So when I seen him actually looking like a puppet in real life, I posted about it. And some people, even I had a couple supporters that thought I could have taken a little higher road, but I was laughing on the inside, guys. And I'll tell you what. So the honest truth is, I have a long memory, so I remember all the things that these people have done. So I have a hard time. I'm not going to be nice to them all the time. That's just the way it is. I have a very low opinion of a lot of these people, and sometimes it's just going to show. And I mean, that's the way it is. I'm under no obligation. I do all this for free. I am under no obligation to be nice to people that are hurting the people of the community. And kind of what I responded to most people is that some of them that were close to Corey or whatever wanted to try to act more outraged. And kind of what I told them is like, you guys are trying to be outraged at me instead of the people that are ushering in chemicals and waste into your drinking water system and ushering in the air pollution, these 65 natural gas generators over there at Meta that's going to be blowing right across the city that's had to apply for an IDEM pollution permit. Yeah, but it's me that's the bad guy. You're gonna make it because I razz these guys. I'm sorry. I don't have a very high opinion of them, and sometimes that's gonna come out. I try to take the high road most of the time, but sometimes if there's a good opportunity to have a laugh at their expense, well then, they deserve every bit of that. So all right, guys, I'm gonna move on. It's been a long week. I've had all these other projects going, so there's just gonna be a real short show today. I wanted to tell you guys the IEDC is alive and well. Braun has pretty much announced that they're reviving the parts of it that they said they were shutting down. It's full throttle on. The attacks on our communities are going to continue this midterm. Guys, likely to be a bloodbath because there's so many people that are against what these Republicans are doing in our community. And I'm pretty ashamed to be. I mean, I've been a lifetime Republican and voted for a lot of people that have come through the pipe that have all now decided that they're just going to turn on everybody. So that's pretty offensive. So you got that. China, evidently much smarter than us because they're dropping these data servers into the ocean so that the ocean water keeps them cool, so that they don't have to sit there and suck out all their natural resources and run their people into crisis. So, man, I hate to admit that, but China's beating us there. That's a hell of a lot better idea than building them on prime farm ground 36 miles away from water where you got to pipe it in at $700 million expense to the people, but that's besides the point. So anyway, Lebanon announced that they're going to do a little corridor project on the South Meridian, which happens to also have the city engineer in the heart of Lebanon, executive director, have a little Airbnb right there on South Meridian, now a few blocks down the road. So they got that. And, I think that's going to get it. Indiana has the highest foreclosures right now. We can go into a whole deep on that, pushing all these industrial developments, putting all this land and getting it pushed up to commercial pricing. It's pushing everybody's appraisal values super high. People are being taxed out of their homes with this property tax. And that's all stuff that was supposed to be addressed by Braun, by promise, and just more empty promises from more corrupt politicians. But that seems to be what we're getting at the moment. But if there is going to be a silver lining by all the different stuff that's going on, all these projects, everything else, there's more Hoosiers organized right now against all these projects. So, I mean, they're every community across the thing. You got these groups forming, which are people talking again. And these people talking are networking. We have the internet. People are sharing information. I know that a couple of years ago when I was starting to engage on what the city was doing with these projects and how few people were out there talking about this stuff, we've came a long way. And I think like even the shop numbers reflect that, how much it's grown. But everybody getting together and everybody talking again and everybody being neighbors once again is going to have a long-term effect on this community, and that's going to be a positive effect that it's going to have on the community. I think we're going to see these things get quickly repudiated. We're going to see a lot of these people put back in the hole, and we're going to see this ship swing. The pendulum. They always say the pendulum swings, and right now they have swung the pendulum so hard towards industrialization and piling over everybody's home that I think it's going to swing back, and when it does, it's going to be a earthquake sized event. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. It's a long fight that we got ahead of us, but enjoy the little things. I'll see you next week.